Welcome to Live Interactive English. Hello everyone, I'm Mike.
Hi, I'm Rainbow.
And today we are going to be reading a story for 2 days. This is a story with a great title. It's the story of Rikki-Tikki-Tavi.
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 This sounds kind of Indian.
Yeah, kind of a nice name. Well, I think it is kind of Indian. It might be made up. It's actually by an English writer, a very famous British writer named Rudyard Kipling. And he wrote something called The Jungle Book.
Ooh, I think I remember this. It's like a classic for all kids, right?
It is very much a classic, and I'm sure you've probably seen a bit of the, or at least all, maybe all, of the Disney movie of the same name. And I think that's one of those movies. They made it in a cartoon form a long time ago.
Yeah,
and
I've seen that one.
They made the live action version too.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I don't know if that one was so popular, but the cartoon one was very popular. Of course, it told the story of a boy named Mowgli who was kind of raised in the jungle with animals.
Like Tarzan.
Kind of like a young Tarzan, and he meets lots of different characters. And there are some great songs in that movie as well, in the cartoon of The Jungle Book. I'm not sure if Rikki-Tikki-Tavi makes an appearance in the cartoon. It would be fun to go back and actually watch that cartoon because, as I said, it's old, it's classic, great songs, and I have to say, I haven't seen it in many, many years. So maybe by reading this story for today and tomorrow, it will inspire us to go back and revisit the cartoon or maybe even find a copy of The Jungle Book. I'm sure it's been translated into many languages or you can read it in the original English. But we're going to give you a little bit of The Jungle Book with the story of Rikki-Tikki-Tavi, a brave mongoose. Rikki-Tikki-Tavi, like all mongooses, was a brave animal and an excellent snake hunter. He came to live with a human family in their bungalow after a flood left him half drowned. He liked his new home and was exploring the yard when he heard some birds crying from their nest. "Our baby," they sobbed. "The great cobra Nag and his wife Nagaina have eaten our baby." All right, so let's begin the story of Rikki-Tikki-Tavi. And that, of course, is the title of our story. And it's also very convenient that it is the name of the hero of our story. If it sounds like an unusual name, well, it probably is. It's made up, I would bet. And also, it's not a person's name. So let's find out who Rikki-Tikki-Tavi is and why he's such a hero.
Yes. The article says Rikki-Tikki-Tavi, like all mongooses, was a brave animal and an excellent snake hunter. So now I know that Rikki-Tikki-Tavi wasn't a person, but it was a mongoose. And a mongoose is an animal, but it sounds like a goose. But I don't think it's a goose. What is a mongoose?
No, it's a brave animal and an excellent snake hunter. That's what a mongoose is. I can't really imagine a goose, a big duck, being an excellent snake hunter. There's something about a goose fighting a snake to me that seems, no, I don't think that would work out for the goose. No, a mongoose is a totally different type of animal. It's not a bird. It doesn't swim on the water. It's more like a weasel or a stoat or a ferret. It's a very small mammal, about the size of a cat or a little bit bigger. There's all sorts of them all over the world. You find them in Africa, you find them in India, and they're very famous for being very fast, very tough, and, as it says, very brave and excellent snake hunters. You think a snake would be a pretty dangerous thing, but whenever I've seen a mongoose and a snake come together for a fight, the snake doesn't usually do well. Mongooses are very tough. And what happens is the mongoose usually ends up biting the head off the snake and killing that snake dead.
Oh my goodness. Okay, back to the article. He came to live with a human family in their bungalow after a flood left him half drowned. Oh no, this was a very big natural disaster, which is called a flood. A flood is what happens when there's a lot of rain all of a sudden and it's so much rain that it causes the rain to be above ground, and sometimes all the water can be as high as even your ankles or your knees. I remember in one of the typhoons in Taiwan when I was young, it went all the way to my knees, and that is a lot of water. And what happens is that it can cause a lot of things to be destroyed, like homes, houses, the land. I have a sentence for you. The flood caused a lot of damage to the town.
All right, so yes, a lot of rain will fall, or maybe rivers will flow over their banks. We can also, of course, have floods and typhoons when it pushes the ocean waves, the ocean water miles inland. That's, of course, what we see happening when we get a tsunami. That can also lead to a flood. It can go way above your ankles, above your neck. It can even go up many floors on buildings, as we saw in Japan all those years ago. Yeah, so this was a terrible thing, but the good thing was Rikki-Tikki-Tavi, he had a place to go. This family let him move into their bungalow. A bungalow is basically just a low one-floor house, all right? That's a word, actually, that comes from India. We use it now in English. If someone says, I live in a bungalow, they live in a house that stands on its own, and it's just one floor. This was a nice place for Rikki-Tikki-Tavi. It says he liked his new home and was exploring the yard when he heard some birds crying from their nest. Oh my gosh, so he's exploring the yard. The yard would be the land around the house, so he's basically just looking around his new home. That's what you do when you explore somewhere. You're looking around a place that's kind of new for you. Maybe it's the first time you've been there. Maybe you've never really looked around and checked things out and discovered what is in that area. Of course, when we think of explorers, we might think of people like Christopher Columbus or Vasco da Gama, exploring places that people had never seen or not many people had seen. But even today, if you go to a new city you've never visited, you might go to your hotel, put your bags in your room, and then go right out and look around the neighborhood. You would explore the neighborhood, look around a new place that is new for you. We plan to explore the forest this weekend. So maybe we'll drive outside the city a short way. There's a beautiful forest and a park, and you're just going to look around a place that's not familiar to you. In this case, he was exploring the yard, and he heard these noises from a nest.
Ooh, yeah. And when there are some noises, we know there are probably some animals living in the nest. A nest is a home for birds, which is sometimes created out of twigs, and it could be up high in a tree. It could even be in the middle of a building that I've seen. This is for the mother bird and the baby birds to be there to rest and to be in a safe place. So when we think of a nest, we always would think of eggs or baby birds inside. The bird built a nest in the tree outside our window. Okay, back to the article. Our baby, they sobbed. The great cobra Nag and his wife Nagaina have eaten our baby. Some bad things are happening right now, and they are very upset.
This is bad news for that family and their little baby bird. What will happen? We'll find out after the break.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。这一次要读的故事是 Rikki-Tikki-Tavi 猫鼬。那么故事一开始提到说 ，Rikki-Tikki-Tavi 就像所有的猫鼬一样，是一只勇敢的动物，它也是猎蛇高手。那先前有一场洪水，害它差一点淹死。在那之后呢，它就跟一个人类家庭一起住在他们的平房里面。当它在探索这个新家的院子时，它就听到一些鸟在鸟巢里面喊叫。这鸟儿呢，它就啜泣着说。大眼镜蛇 Nak 跟他的太太吃掉了他们的宝宝。好，那我们先来看单字 flood 这个名词它表示洪水或是水灾。那么 explore 这个动词表示探索探访。Nest 是名词，它可以指鸟类或者是昆虫的巢或者是窝。那这边有两个重点，我们进入文法时间。 好，我们来看第一个重点是 leave 加受词加受词补语的句型。那么 leave 在这边它是表达时处于某种状态，那受词后面必须接补语，这个语义才会完整。受词补语可以用到形容词、现在分词 VING、过去分词 PP 或者是介系词片语。我们用分词当补语的时候 ，VING 是表示主动或进行 ，PP 是表示被动或者是完成。我们看两个例句 ：The bad news left her anxious， 那个坏消息使她很焦虑。那这边用形容词 anxious 来当补语。He left his jacket unzipped， 他没拉上外套拉链，那就是让外套处于没拉链的状态。这边用到过去分词 unzipped 来当补语。好，看到第二个重点是感官动词，它是指看、听、闻、感觉之类的动词，包括 watch、see、look at、listen to、hear、smell 或是 feel 等等。我们来看看常见的用法。第一种呢，可以用到感官动词加受词加原形动词，这时候是指事实或者是过程。例如 Carol watched her son play soccer。Carol 看他的儿子踢足球。那第二个句型是感官动词加受词加上现在分词 VING， 那这是指动作正在进行。例如 He felt something moving in the dark， 他感觉到黑暗中有东西在动。好，那接回到课文中。
At that moment, Rikki-Tikki saw a snake heading toward the human family's child, Teddy. Rikki-Tikki knew he had to protect the boy, so he moved in a flash. He bit down hard on the snake's neck and killed it. But this was not one of the cobras that had eaten the bird's child. This was Karate, a small yet dangerous snake. Nag and Nagaina had watched Rikki-Tikki battle Karate. They grew worried. What would happen to them with a snake-killing mongoose in the house? So the two of them made a plan. That night, Nag would sneak into the bungalow and kill everyone in the human family. That way, Rikki-Tikki would leave and never come back.
Okay, so something terrible has happened and the babies are being eaten, and what is going to happen to all these birds and what's going to happen to our main character? Let's take a look right now.
Okay, so of course the cobras, Nag and Nagaina, were eating baby birds up in a nest. Now, Rikki-Tikki-Tavi, remember, is a very brave snake-fighting mongoose. So yeah, is he going to do something about it? Well, at that moment, right at that time, when Rikki-Tikki heard the voices of the birds crying out to save their baby, right at that moment, Rikki-Tikki saw a snake heading toward the human family's child, Teddy. This is even worse. Of course, this is the family that lives in that bungalow that Rikki is now living in. So Rikki, he knows what to do. Rikki-Tikki knew he had to protect the boy, so he moved in a flash. Remember, we talked about how mongooses are very fast and brave animals. So to hear that the mongoose moved in a flash in a time of danger does not really surprise us.
Yes, and we have this noun here, flash. A flash is a sudden burst of light, and it can happen when someone flies really, really quickly. Actually, there's also a character whose name is Flash, and he's super fast. He's a superhero. But we can see a flash in many different times. For example, if I'm taking a photo and I use a flash, then we'll see the light go upwards, and then it comes back down. That's a flash, a spark of light. The magician made the rabbit disappear in a flash. That means all of a sudden, as if it was very sudden, like a light.
That's right. Flash can be a burst of light, but here we're using it just to mean something that happens or moves really, really quickly, like that flash of light from a camera or a flash of light from lightning in the sky. It moves very quickly. So if someone moves in a flash, or it happens in a flash, that just means it happens really quickly, but maybe there's no light there.
He bit down hard on the snake's neck and killed it. But this was not one of the cobras that had eaten the bird's child. This was great. A small yet dangerous snake. Uh-oh.
There's a lot of dangerous snakes around in this part of India. Of course, cobras are one of the most dangerous snakes in the world. There are several types of them. Many people know the king cobra, which has that hood which sort of pops around its head. But a krait, K-R-A-I-T, is another type of poisonous snake. So I'm guessing krait might be that type of snake. But either way, these snakes are dangerous, and especially if they bite something small like a baby, that person or an animal could die. So Nag and Nagaina had watched Rikki-Tikki battle krait. So there's Rikki-Tikki, he's battling or he's fighting krait. And if you've ever seen a snake and a mongoose fight, it is very exciting and very scary. As the snake strikes at the mongoose kind of jumps around and twists its body and jumps through the air, and it's always trying to get around and bite the snake in the back of the neck. So they grew worried. The family grew worried. They're seeing this fight. They don't know what's exactly going on, but they know the snake is dangerous. What would happen to them with a snake-killing mongoose in the house? Yeah, the mongoose might be killing the snake, but mongooses have sharp teeth too, and these are wild animals as well. So
They're
of course,
fast.
Nag and Nagaina are very worried that this mongoose might kill them after it kills krait. So what did the two other snakes, the two cobras, what did they do?
So the two of them made a plan. That night, Nag would sneak into the bungalow and kill everyone in the human family. That way, Rikki-Tikki would leave and never come back. This is a threat.
This is a terrible plan for well, it's a good plan for the snakes maybe, but a terrible plan
They're
for the
humans.
family. The humans are in danger. They don't know it, but Rikki-Tikki knows about those snakes. So will he be able to protect the family, or will the two snakes be able to take on Rikki-Tikki-Tavi? The only way to find out is to, well, you could read the book, but the only other way to find out is to come back and join us here tomorrow for the end of the story of Rikki-Tikki-Tavi and his many snake enemies. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Rikki-Tikki-Tavi 刚刚听到鸟儿说，大眼镜蛇和他太太吃掉了他们的宝宝。那就在这个时候 ，Rikki-Tikki-Tavi 看到一条蛇朝着人类家庭的孩子 Teddy 的方向过去。他知道啊，他必须保护这个男孩，所以就迅速采取行动，狠狠地咬住那条蛇的脖子，把它杀死。可是那并不是吃掉鸟宝宝的眼镜蛇，这个大眼镜蛇 Knock 跟他的太太看着 Rikki-Tikki-Tavi 跟那一条蛇战斗，他们就逐渐担心了起来。于是呢，这两条蛇就制定了一个计划。那天晚上，大眼镜蛇要偷偷溜进平房里面，杀死人类家庭的每一个人。那这样一来 ，Rikki-Tikki-Tavi 就会离开了，就再也不会回来，也就不会对他们造成威胁了。好，单字 flash 它表示闪烁或者是闪光，那么 in a flash 就表示很快的转瞬间。补充单字 sneak 当动词则表示偷偷溜进或者是前行的意思。好，那么以上是今天的讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
Rikki-Tikki-Tavi, like all mongooses, was a brave animal and an excellent snake hunter. He came to live with a human family in their bungalow after a flood left him half drowned. He liked his new home and was exploring the yard when he heard some birds crying from their nest. "Our baby," they sobbed. "The great cobra Nag and his wife Nagaina have eaten our baby." At that moment, Rikki-Tikki saw a snake heading toward the human family's child, Teddy. Rikki-Tikki knew he had to protect the boy, so he moved in a flash. He bit down hard on the snake's neck and killed it. But this was not one of the cobras that had eaten the bird's child. This was krait, a small yet dangerous snake. Nag and Nagaina had watched Rikki-Tikki battle krait. They grew worried. What would happen to them with a snake-killing mongoose in the house? So the two of them made a plan. That night, Nog would sneak into the bungalow and kill everyone in the human family. That way, Rikki-Tikki would leave and never come back.
Do you like baseball? It can be said to be Taiwan's national sport, and that's not an exaggeration. Have you ever been to a baseball game at the stadium? Here, Chiayi City Municipal Baseball Stadium is where baseball magic happens. Imagine green fields, cheering fans, and players hitting the ball hard with a loud crack of the bat. Whether you're a die-hard fan or just want fun, this stadium is where the action happens. So grab your snacks and get ready for a home run of a day. Chiayi City Municipal Baseball Stadium is located near Chiayi Park. The baseball stadium was first built in 1918 during the Japanese colonial period. This over 100-year-old stadium plays an important part in Taiwan's professional baseball. Many excellent Taiwanese baseball teams were trained here and went abroad to enter international baseball tournaments. In 1931, the Kano baseball team claimed second place at Koshin in Japan. In 1979, the Puzi Little League won the championship at the 1979 Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, United States. All these baseball teams went through very extensive and tough training at this baseball stadium. The baseball stadium used to be called the best baseball park ever in Taiwan. However, as time went by, the baseball stadium needed refurbishing. To revive this historic baseball stadium, the authorities put a lot of effort into its refurbishment. The refurbished baseball stadium was reopened in 1998. Outside the baseball stadium, you will see some artworks such as the huge copper baseball bat and 7 Bengal tigers. They are used to commemorate those who brought honor back to Taiwan. Chiayi means a lot when referring to baseball. When it comes to baseball in Taiwan, Chiayi City Municipal Baseball Stadium is undoubtedly a significant monument. Absolutely! You can find tributes to many excellent baseball teams at the Chiayi Baseball Stadium, like the legendary Kano baseball team that once caused a sensation, ushering in a new chapter in Taiwan's baseball history. Their story was even adapted into a movie in 2014. On the field, players run and sweat under the hot sun, giving their all until the final moment of the game. Their passion is truly moving.